Namaste. Welcome to the 4th edition of the Global Festival of Oneness, organized by Indica Moksha. My name is Anuradha and I'm the host for the evening. We will start with a prayer. Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmatacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru-Paramparam. We are very pleased to have with us Swami Swatmananda, who will be sharing on the topic, practicing detachment at work. Before we go on to the session, I'd like to introduce the speaker. Swami Swatmananda is one of the most dynamic leaders of the Chinmaya Mission. Currently posted at Chinmaya Mission South Mumbai, he completed the Vedanta course from Powai from 1998-2000 after completing his graduation in Commerce and Software Engineering. He has been serving the Chinmaya Mission Mumbai since 2000. He expounds the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta through talks on the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other texts of Vedanta. He has also taken the Youth Empowerment Program, which is a value-based leadership program for youth who want to serve the nation and culture. He is also a playwright and has written and directed 2 theatrical performances, Adrishya, Quest for the Unseen, based on the Saraswati civilization, and just like that, a play based on the Bhagavad Gita in the life of Anand and how they discover harmony by applying the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. Welcome, Swamiji.
Namaskar, Anuradha ji. Thank you, Nitin ji and Indica Moksha for this beautiful opportunity once again. And congratulations for one more festival, the 4th edition, so the 4th Global Oneness Festival. And thank you all for inviting me for this session. Yesterday we celebrated Adi Shankaracharya's Jayanti. Our topic is practicing detachment at work. And Adi Shankaracharya is one of the best examples of detachment and even at work. So we generally look at Bhagavan Shankaracharya from the standpoint of a saint, which he definitely was. His avatar of Bhagavan Shiva himself. But today we will also explore how to practice detachment at work through the principles of Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, etc. And also see how the great Acharya himself practiced this in his life. So I will be sharing a presentation. So detachment at work. First, before we go into this topic, that the word detachment appears to be a very heavy duty word. And generally one thinks that detachment and work cannot go together, because one feels that detachment means one becomes aloof, one becomes disinterested, one becomes, not ambitious. So we should first and foremost think about it, that what is not detachment. Then we will come to what detachment is. So what is not detachment? It is definitely not disinterest. Because when we have disinterest, then we say, I don't care, I don't want to get involved. Detachment is not that. Detachment is not complete indifference, ignoring one's duties, responsibilities, or even if one sees some challenge or sees some problem, one doesn't bother, one says, I'm indifferent to it, it's not my problem. It is not an indifference. It is not escaping from facing life. It is not lack of love. People think that somebody who is detached is not caring, not loving. It is not carelessness. When someone thinks that, in the name of detachment, anything is acceptable. there are no proper rules, standards, or certain specifications. So it is not carelessness. It is not again mediocrity that we learn to tolerate any performance. We don't emphasize on manifesting our great potential, giving our best. Why? Because we are detached. Whatever comes, we will do. However possible, we will do. No, it's not detachment. Definitely, it is not laziness, and it is not ambition, lessness, or absence of aspirations. If you look at Acharya's life, see, he did not have a personal ambition to become something great only by himself, to push himself up, which also at a certain level of evolution is not wrong. Anyone can have that desire, and our culture does not denounce it. It says, the Taittiriya Upanishad says that bhutyaina pramaditavyam, don't postpone your prosperity. But it also says don't get limited by that. There are greater things to be done. So Acharya revived the entire Sanatana Dharma by himself. Single-handedly, he went around the country and revived the Sanatana Dharma, brought back the Sanatana Dharma from the delusions that people had about Sanatana Dharma, revived the real Sanatana Dharma, the Vedic traditions, and also ensured that the people who had gone away from Sanatana Dharma into Buddhism and other faiths got them back. So it was not a personal ambition, but it was a great vision that he had. So though he had detachment, he had a great vision. So it's not that ambitionlessness, if somebody doesn't have any ambition, that means one is detached. Or somebody who is detached has no ambition. So for that, to understand what is detachment, we have to know what attachment is. So attachment is a psychological dependency on things, people, or situations for one's happiness. If I depend on, let us say, someone to complete a particular work, I have given it to my subordinates, let us say, and I, of course, depend because I'm a team leader, I've given it to them, I expect them to finish it at a certain time and come back to me. That's a functional dependency. But the psychological dependency comes where one feels that that person is indispensable. Without that person, I'm stuck, I can't do work. Now that becomes a psychological dependency. If it is a skill-based dependency, again that comes under functional dependency, because that person has that particular skill and I need that skill to get that work done. Maybe I find some other person with that skill and I can get it done. So then that is functional dependency. But if I say, no, I want this person only to do it in this way only, then that becomes a psychological dependency. And so where one feels that without this I'm incomplete, where one feels that without this I will not be happy, or without that I will not be able to achieve a certain success, then we are psychologically depending. And that's why that psychological dependency is what we call as attachment, where we form equations in our mind. I plus this object, person, situation is equal to happiness. That's called attachment equation. So suppose I say I plus this particular iPhone 14 or whatever that latest one will be is equal to happiness. Now I can have any other phone, but I want that particular phone, then I feel great, I feel I am somebody and I can, have a certain prestige or, certain status in the society. Now that is attachment. So if I say I plus this particular type of food is enjoyment, this particular person is love, that particular amount of wealth, then I feel secure. Now these are psychological dependencies we have created. Not that any of these are not important. At a certain level, whatever is required, necessity also, or even beyond necessity, one may use. But if one feels that without them my life is unhappy, I am incomplete, I am lacking something, that till I don't become successful, I am not a worthy person. Now that is the attachment. In the work, in the corporate field or in the field of work, when one is spending so much time, so many years one spends doing the work, these ideas They drive the performance, they drive our sense of identity, they drive the motivation itself. So what equations do I have in my mind? A mind which is bound by many of these attachments is not a fresh mind. It is not a mind which has creativity, innovation. To think, the mind has to have freedom. To even execute with focus, the mind must have freedom. If it is weighed down by many attachments, every single attachment pulls us down. And it can be as simple as an attachment to coffee, or an attachment to a particular person, attachment to a gadget, attachment to a certain habit, that how much time one spends on the phone and browsing, and nowadays the reels which are there, they are addictive, and they are programmed in that way that the person gets attached. The algorithms also work in that way, and the whole psychology behind it sometimes is such that it will influence the minds, and one is stuck. So any attachment is a very important point to understand, that it will weigh me down. That's a very important point to understand. That's why even at work I need detachment. To become successful, I need detachment. To love genuinely and feel satisfaction, I need detachment. To focus and work, put away distractions, I need detachment. So detachment and work definitely can go together. It is not opposed to each other. So if this is attachment, that I plus object is equal to happiness, that equation, till we don't clear that equations, and this is a basic equation, what you call as maybe the prototype. We form based on that so many equations by ourselves. How many people grow up with such inferiority complex today, that if they don't get a certain percentage, don't get into certain educational institution, don't go abroad to study, or don't have a particular type of a job, a certain 6-figure, 7-figure salary job, whatever that expectation is, then one feels less, one feels unworthy. That is called attachment. That is psychological dependency. No matter what I achieve, I am a worthy human being. That comes first. Work comes next, achievement comes after that. But if I think that only when I get that achievement, then I'm a worthy person, then that is not the right way to live the life. Because we are first and foremost individuals, then comes everything else. And healthy, happy individuals having a good self-esteem, very important. So many young people today get into depression, into suicides, into such tendencies where they take up drugs. Why that happens? One of the reasons is that one has brought up such equations in one's mind, and one has played it in one's mind, and the conditioning of the society, parent pressure, peer pressure, all that builds up. And so then one is having these equations. I should look in a certain way, I should dress in a certain way, I should have a certain job, then only I am worthy, then only I am successful, then only society will respect me. Now these things weigh us down. Again, I'm saying, having good dress, having a certain status, success, nothing wrong by itself. But if I depend on them, then that is called attachment. So I plus object is equal to happiness is an attachment. Then what is detachment? We will come to that. Why should I drop attachment? Because attachment makes us blind. Whatever I'm attached to, that will color my vision. Asakti, it is called in Vedanta. And if you split it in Hindi, it is very nice. Jo asakti hai, wo ja bhi sakti hai. Though the word asakti cannot be split as a plus sakti in in that Hindi sense of the term in Sanskrit, but I'm just saying as a concept, that we have built attachments in our mind through repetitive thought patterns and paying attention to that thought and giving it more and more energy. Now it has become a deep attachment. Then I can't live without this. First sip of coffee I had and I loved it, and I framed an equation, I plus coffee is equal to relaxation. Now whenever I want to relax, I will want a coffee. Now, repeatedly, if I do that behavior, that will become my attachment. Suppose morning coffee. Now, I want to have that morning coffee. It has to be made in a certain way, in a certain, temperature. I have to drink it. Now, if I don't get it, my day doesn't go well. Now, that is called attachment. Now, what will that attachment do? It will blind me from so many other possibilities which are there around me. So, it's very important to understand this fact that attachment is that which will limit us, it will bind us. What we have to understand is this: even in relationship, Duryodhan was blinded by his attachment to his son, psychologically blinded. And same way Dhritarashtra was bound to his son Duryodhan, and same way Duryodhan is also bound. It is not that a person, Dhritarashtra alone was bound to Duryodhan. Dhritarashtra did not have eyes physical, but he was very attached to his son. He could not do his duty as a king because he was attached to his son. Same way, we get attached to certain people, certain ways of functioning, certain habits. Now, that is why it is that the important point is to drop attachments to perform well, to achieve success. It will distract me from the duty. Suppose IPL is going on right now, T20 matches I'm very attached to. Now I have an important work to do. I have to finish a project in a certain timeline, but I am very attached to a particular team or the very fact of T20 cricket. It will distract me from my duties. I may try to balance it out, all that is understandable, but many times it can happen that I have something important to do, even my exercise, let us say, or my meditation or any such thing also for my self-development, but I will give preference to this. In many situations, when it becomes extreme, it can even hurt us, hurt the beloved, harm the beloved. Dhritarashtra became the cause of his own son's destruction. All his 100 children died because of him, not because of Bhagavan Krishna, but because of him, because if he could have averted the war completely. So many parents who are so attached to their own ideas, they impose this on their children that they have to take a particular subject, they have to become take a particular profession, and because they could not do it, they want to live that dream through the child. Now it destroys the child's life and potential. Many times the child goes to the extent of even splitting from the family, going away, or even committing suicide. So it can harm and destroy the beloved. It can increase one's insecurity and inferiority. Dhritarashtra could not become a king, but he became the king finally when Pandu died. When Pandu left the kingdom and went to forest, he became the king, but his insecurities didn't go. Think about it. So dropping attachment is a very, very important part of living a happy life, secure life, successful life, meaningful life, purposeful life. It will make us weak and dependent if I don't drop attachments. For example, if there is some bag that I'm carrying, as long as that bag is there, I have to lift that weight. It will stop me from that freedom that I have. If I drop the bag and I have to run, it is so much more better. If I have to move around, it's so much more better. The whole day, imagine if I'm carrying a bag and moving around. Then how does it, how does it feel? The burden I'm carrying. So attachments, we are talking about psychological dependencies on object, people, and situations. Now, attachment to God, attachment to Guru, if somebody says that attachment is better than any other attachment, but finally that attachment also has to go. Because what stops me from realizing my own divinity and essential oneness, which Guru and Bhagavan want me to realize, is my attachments only. Nothing else comes between me and my Lord. Is my attachments to the world. So I become extroverted. So when I attach to God and Guru, then I turn. And finally, I drop that attachment also. So in all situations, attachment has to be dropped. And definitely it causes sorrow and pain. Who wants sorrow? We don't want sorrow. That's a natural human tendency, is to cling to that which gives us pleasure, which is why I'm attached. I'm attached to coffee or a person or a situation or a phone or whatever it may be, because I want enjoyment. I want happiness out of it. But that very attachment becomes the cause of sorrow. In fact, the greater the attachment is, greater will be my sorrow. There is no doubt in that. The attachment and sorrow are directly proportional to each other. There can be any number of reasons one may give for sorrow, but one of the main reasons will be attachment. Wherever there is attachment, there will be sorrow. So this is the reason why we need to drop attachment. And Bhagavan Shankaracharya's life, if you see, full of detachment. You think about it, at the age of 8, Acharya took sannyas. You think of his situation in his life. Father Shiva Guru has passed on, mother is alone, he is the only son. But he took sannyas at 8 and he wanted to revive the culture, and he took the permission of his mother and he left the mother and went all the way to Omkareshwar, met his guru there. He never stayed back. Though his mother is alone, look at the sacrifice that he has done, and today, because of that, our Vedic Dharma is revived and we are following whatever we are following even today because of that. Even with his guru, he stayed for a few years and he left. He actually wanted to remain in the state of samadhi, etc. But he also realized what he has to do, the culture needs revival, etc. And so he toured the whole country. How many times? Almost 4 times. On foot, meeting people, traveling, establishing monasteries, reviving temples, whatnot he did, because anchored in detachment. No attachment to any particular person, no attachment to any particular object. The greatest performances can happen because of detachment. So we should never fear detachment. You look at lives of people who are detached, and everybody has detachment in their life. It's not that it's something absolutely new. We let go, we drop. Every night when we sleep, we drop all our attachments. Everything, we go to deep sleep. Every time we focus on something which we really love to do, we are absorbed in that. We drop everything. We lose ourselves into it. So this I plus this object is equal to happiness. In the state of absorption, in the state of samadhi, in the state of deep sleep, though all the 3 are not equal, I'm just giving 3 examples. That object goes, I is equal to happiness will be the equation. That equation we have to achieve in the waking state. That no dependency. I may use objects, but objects cannot use me. That is detachment. Use things, don't get used by things. Have, don't possess. I may have things, I may use them, but don't get possessed by them. And one should not feel that without them I'm any lesser. So many conveniences and things that we have today, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji didn't have. And young boy, think of it, 8 years old, and so much of decadence of the culture that he's seeing all around him. Not enough support, but he does all his work. Why? Because anchored in detachment. And so, very important it is to learn this fact that we must drop the attachments. And one more reason is attachment itself has its own attachments. 6 impurities come. Jealousy, anger, fear, insecurity, loneliness, all this. Krodha, lobha, moha, many of these will happen. Even if we say kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, of those 6 impurities, the root cause is kama only, which is selfishness there, in that meaning. So the purpose is this. Now, what is detachment? We saw detachment is not disinterest. Detachment is not escapism. It is not carelessness. All those things we saw. If attachment is I plus object is equal to happiness, that's the equation of attachment, then detachment is wow, with or without. With this particular iPad, I can say wow. Without this also I can say wow. With a particular percentage I can say wow. Without it I can say wow. With a particular applause or a award I can say wow. Without it also I can say wow. My inner state of mind doesn't get disturbed. I learn to accept life as it comes. Acceptance is equal to detachment. They are not different. If I have acceptance, that is detachment. And because of detachment only, I can accept life as it comes, where I put aside my insistence. So if I put aside my insistence and my resistance, that is detachment. I may expect something, work hard, but I don't insist this has to be like this only, and then only I will be worthy or happy. That I put aside. Then I am detached. So detached people, so first of all, disinterested people will say, who cares? Why should I bother? I don't care. Desperate or dependent people will say, if I don't get this, I'm unhappy. Detached people will say, do the best, leave the rest. Remember that part. Do the best. Detachment does not mean is not doing the best. In fact, detachment only will bring the best out. One who is very detached is very clear, very focused, and can, has saved so much of energy of the mind. In one lifetime, if Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji did so much of work, is unimaginable. How can one man do this much? With our technology available today, with all this modern travel facilities and everything, we can't do that much that he did in those times. It's very easy to say he was avatar of Shankara, Bhagavan Shiva. That, don't dismiss it like that. Then we can't learn anything. As a human being, how much did he do? Not to discount away from his divinity, of course, he is Bhagavan's avatar. But how did he live as a human being and how much he achieved? Showing this power of detachment at work. So now, what exactly is detachment at work? First and foremost, when we become clear that why do we work, the purpose must be very, very clear. Yesterday we were having this C20 meet, the India's presidency of G20. We have taken this year's G20 presidency. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the theme, the main theme. And under G20, there are many other subgroups. C20 is one of the groups. And civil society organizations can come together, discuss, and present their points to G20 leaders. So Chinmay Mission is doing the national conferences as well as hosting the international conference on C20. On one of the sub-themes of C20 is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and its application in commerce, in education, in media, in politics, in arts, culture, dharma, all these. So yesterday I was hearing, we had Mr. Ajay Piramal and Renuka Ramnathji, Sudhanshu Vats, many people came and they expressed how to live this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in the corporate world. There, one of the things one of the speakers said was very interesting. He said that, what do you need to start a business? Generally, people think you need capital, you need money. He said that is wrong. He said the first thing we need to start a business is a strong purpose. What is your purpose? Make that purpose very clear. Everything will follow after that. Money will follow, resources will follow, people will come. Everything will follow if your purpose is very strong and clear. So what is the purpose? Why do we work? There may be different purposes for each person, different reasons, and nothing wrong that only one purpose is right and others are wrong. No. Some people work for livelihood, no doubt, some for success, accomplishment, some to channelize the talent, some to make a difference to society. Some may have even a combination of all these. Some want to manifest their potential. Some want to realize a particular ideal and see that in the society, this particular ideal manifests and society becomes a better place. But whatever purpose one may have, Vedanta says, and in and through all this, the main purpose why we work is happiness. Yesterday, Mr. Watts was saying that ultimately we all work for happiness. So first and foremost thing is, if my purpose is very clear, I will not get distracted. Detachment becomes easy when the purpose is strong. And that is why detachment and achievements can go together, because the purpose is strong. Then that will keep me focused and I will be away from all other psychological factors where I feel attached. So first point of applying detachment at work is get a very strong, clear purpose. That what is my purpose to work? One, what is the purpose of the organization where I am working or which I have founded? What is the main purpose? And how focused am I on that purpose? Or are we as an organization on that purpose? Because we may start with a purpose, but we get distracted somewhere. Some attachments come, some, temptations come, one gets distracted. It's a natural thing to do for that to happen, but we need to come back. Bhagavan Shankaracharya's purpose very clear right from the beginning. Revive Vedic Dharma, full stop. Bring back that Sanatana Dharma and make people, live the glory of that Sanatana Dharma. Very clear. And for that, then whatever other things to be done, you can have goals, you can have milestones, you can have, vision statement, all that can be done. But what is the purpose? Purpose answers the existential question. Why? Even as a human being, why am I alive as a human being? Purpose will answer that existential question. Why does your company exist? That will also show the differentiating factor. Why does the company exist? What difference does it make? How is it different from other companies and people offering the same type of a product or a service? So first thing is one should be very clear about the purpose. Second, accept challenges and act. When we live in this world, we may expect that challenges should not come to us. There are difficulties. We will reach the goal faster if these challenges are not there. But if you do an experiment, there was a small experiment which was done. There is one small device which is where a ball can be put. So one format is the ball goes straight to one end and comes back. There's only straight flat line, and side curves are there on the side. So you put it on this side, it will go straight, it will go up the curve, again come back to this. And the second one is the same size, but it has ups and downs. You put the ball on both at the same time. Science experiment this is. You put the ball on same time, both the balls will go, but which ball will return faster? Is the ball which has gone through ups and downs. It gains momentum. Same force you have put the ball, but one ball goes, comes back, but the other ball goes through all ups and downs, but comes back faster. Challenges are like that. So at work, if we take, even people who set goals, many times we set goals. The tragedy is not that we set goals and we achieve them. The tragedy is we set low goals and we achieve them. So the point is, the tragedy is not that we set high goals and don't achieve. The tragedy is we set low goals and achieve it. So our potential doesn't manifest. So each of us has to work. Action is the very signature of life. And the higher we rise in life, the greater responsibilities will come, and with it, greater challenges also will come. Now, in daydreams, we say that if my job was easier, I'd be happy. In absence of challenges, life is boring. Potentials don't manifest. That's why challenges have to be welcomed. That yes, there is a challenge. Let us see how to face it. How many challenges came in the way of Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji? But he met all of them. He did not put aside, his purpose. He faced it, all of them, because the stronger the sense of purpose is, greater is my motivation to achieve, and I will overcome all my obstacles. If my purpose is not strong, I will either give up that purpose or get disheartened. My efforts will not be wholehearted. I will drag myself. Then I will say I am not capable of achieving it. I will leave it. That is a sign of a weak mind. So second point is this: let there be challenges which come. I will meet them squarely, face them. Bhagavan Shankaracharya need not have accepted the challenge only to revive Sanatana Dharma. He could have been like anybody else. Nobody told him to do it. It is from inside, that feeling which is there, that I must do this, revive the Vedic Dharma. Such a glorious culture should not get obliterated. If such great masters were not there, our culture would have been like so many others, Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Mesopotamian, Mayan, Aztec. So many of these cultures are all museums now. But he accepted. He did not run away from it, faced them, overcame challenges, revived the Sanatana Dharma, and short span of life, he achieved unimaginable things. Third point. What does that work mean to you? Now my purpose is clear. I have a right attitude. Now, what is my work meaning to me? Is it my job, where the focus may be on just the rewards, the money part of it? The nature may not hold interest. I'm not saying everybody's job is like that. I'm just saying for a certain context, that if I think it's just a job and I'm just interested in the monetary part of it, or I think it's a career. I need to climb up the ladder. I need to achieve more and more promotions. I need to manifest my potential. I need to earn more. And of course, with that comes power, status, prestige, all that. Or my focus is, it is my calling. I love this job. Work is a fulfillment to me. Success will come. If I love that job that I'm doing, if it is my calling, and how does one discover the calling? Very interesting it is. If we say, no, you can never discover your calling. Means what? You cannot discover the calling by itself. It will reveal itself. When we become quiet, it will reveal. There can be tests, there can be many other things that can be helpful, but finally it is from within that I have to choose, this is my calling. It will reveal. Whether through meditation, introspection, through whatever psychological tests and many other methods, tools one can use. But it has to finally reveal to me, this is my calling. If I engage in the work which is of my calling, time just passes. I enjoy that work. I don't have to drag myself to work. That attitude is called labor. Labor means what? One who just drags oneself in work. I don't mean to say that those who are doing manual labor, they are any inferior. The point is the word labor. One has to struggle in that. It can be any job. And it can be that same job which can appear so-called small job. But if that is my calling, it is my calling. And I love it, I enjoy it. So one who has that feeling, that person, in the Gita, Bhagavan says, Tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasya. Arjun, your calling is you are a Kshatriya and you have to protect Dharma. So you do your duty for its own sake, work for the sake of work. You will have to excuse me for a minute. I stay alone and there's somebody who's just at the door. Just give me 1 minute, sorry.
Okay.
Yes. So work is a fulfillment unto itself. When we understand this, in fact, this can be applied for everything in life. Exercise for the sake of exercise. If I start doing that, I'm not exercising just to build some six-pack abs or show it off to people. I'm doing it because it's a beautiful way to live life, to be fit. I enjoy the mode of exercise that I've chosen and I love it. Same way, if we love for the sake of love, where the joy is in loving, a mother loves the child. When the child is so small, cute, mother doesn't have expectations. And that mother just loves the child and she feels so happy just holding the child. She's not wanting any reciprocation. So there's no dependency there. If the child reciprocates, mother is happy. If the child does not, mother is happy. Because the joy is in just loving the child. Same way, an artist who paints, a musician who sings, or a sportsman who plays. Swamiji, our job is this job. How can we find joy in that? See, that's where the purpose comes. From that purpose, I derive my inspiration. I may be doing a desk job, but what is the impact of that job? How does it transform lives? What is the work that I'm doing? And does that work give me that joy? So where I'm working for the sake of work and I understand my purpose very clearly, Arjun's purpose is to protect dharma. Now that's his main purpose as a Kshatriya. Then for that he's prepared himself. Now he has become the best archer and he is doing what he is doing to the best of his abilities, enjoying that work. Though his work is very hard, I mean, he has to kill his own relatives, that's where the dilemma came. But the point is that, okay, what is my purpose and how do and if it is my Swadharma, if these two come together, my purpose and my Swadharma, what I am made for, if they come together, I will enjoy that work. If a teacher knows that, this joy, this is creating the future, how many teachers teach with that attitude? Shankaracharya ji, if you look at him as a teacher, what a fantastic teacher he was. How he taught through his life, through his anecdotes, through his examples, through his compositions, even through his actions, how he put the priest from Kerala up there in Badrinath. That is such a fantastic example of national integration. Through his life, he teaches that. The feeling that this work that I am doing is my Swadharma. He wrote commentaries. That is his Swadharma. He studied Veda. He got the knowledge from the Guru. He expressed it. Through those commentaries, he revived. Until today, we are studying those commentaries, and that is why we know what our Upanishads mean. So he engaged himself as a teacher, as a great leader, as a great poet, enjoyed his work, and spontaneously things will come out from him. Looking at that old man chanting, mugging up grammar rules, he says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Many examples like that one can give. So the calling, what is my calling? I should spend time, if I have not yet found it, introspect, do certain things, ask people, come to discover that calling. Fourth is the vision that one has, is what is the purpose I have, what is the sense of dedication that I can have. Swami Chinmayananji, Puja Gurudev, he said, a single inspiring ideal can transform a listless soul into a towering leader of men. Narendra was going around asking people, have you seen God? Have you seen God? Till he met Swami Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, who said, yes, I have seen God and I see him more closely than I see you. That touched his heart. He tested Ramakrishna Paramhamsa for a long time. Finally, he accepted. And the ideal also that he found, that this knowledge of Vedanta has to reach the masses. Toured the country for 7 years without any support from 1886 to 1893. Finally goes to World Parliament of Religions and roars there. Then we recognize his genius and greatness here. In those 7 years, how much difficulties he goes through. His sister also commits suicide because there's no food to eat, utter poverty in the house. But he is not moved to give up his purpose that I have to awaken the country. A sacrifice is necessary, and he says that. What if a mother or a sister sacrifice? Without that, nothing is achieved. Those are very strong words. It's not that he didn't love his mother or his sister, but sacrifice for the country. Because ideal is awaken the people from the slumber, and that our country was in what level of slumber that time. He had to say that you will be closer to heaven by playing football than by studying the Gita. Imagine. Because at least become active. Once you are active, then we can give knowledge. You are dull, sleepy, lethargic, ignorant, tamasic in the mind also, body also. How will one achieve? So what is the ideal to which my life or my work is dedicated? One has to feel that. It is not just, mechanically one does work. One has to bring that feeling. That Swadharma will bring that feeling. And once I have found my Swadharma, this is my calling, then I dedicate that to higher purpose. Duryodhana was also fighting, his Swadharma also is Kshatriya, and Arjun also, Yudhishthir also, and Shakuni also. But what is the dedication to? One is dedicated to dharma, other is dedicated to adharma. So one rises, one will fall. So what is my work dedicated to? Very important question. So higher that vision is, greater is that inspiration. And if one sets an impersonal vision, thinks beyond this I, which is what today in the corporate world people say, have a goal which is greater than yourself. Which means this, set an impersonal vision, dedicate oneself to that. Think big actually means think impersonal. Think big does not mean only in terms of numbers. One can be very selfish, absolutely selfish, and still achieve great numbers. That is not called think big. It has some relevance, but beyond that it is nothing. Dr. Abdul Kalam, he thought big, achieved so many great things for the country. So when we say think, and he said a very beautiful line, small aim is a crime. In his ignited minds, he gives that song of the youth. In that one line comes, small aim is a crime. So what is the meaning of small aim and big aim? Small aim means one who thinks only for I, me and mine, who doesn't go beyond. Shankaracharya's whole life dedicated for humanity. So think big and think about the positive impact of your vision and the work that you are doing. One can think innovative, think futuristic, be productive through that. That what will the future need? And today is very, very important because artificial intelligence, when we speak about, there is a lot of, thought that the present day jobs that we are having, many of them will be redundant in some few years or even few months maybe. So what is the future requiring? What will be the types of requirements for future? Leadership, innovation, many of these will be required. So many qualities will be required and so many new professions will come up. So one is to be able to think. A mind which is free and detached only can think like this. Predict what will be the need, create the need, what they call disrupt. No? The disrupting of the environment can happen only when I'm having that kind of a free mind to think innovatively, to think out of the box, to think beyond the norm, and do it in a way which is beneficial. That is another point that Dharma will always say. That it has to be in a dharmic way, positively impacting the society, not creating a negative impact. Otherwise, one can do a lot of disruption in the way we live through many other means which can destroy, harm lives of people. And that is nothing great about that. In fact, that is creating negative karma and bad consequences. So detachment helps us to even achieve this. Listen with an open mind to suggestions. Detachment, when it is there, we are not clouded by, okay, I like this person, so I will take suggestions from this person. I don't like this person, so even if that person is saying something right, I will not take. Now, attachment is this behavior. I build prejudices, raga and dvesha. Now, I'm not objective. Now, I can't take opinions clearly. And I will be biased in my approach. To achieve any success, one should be able to have a unbiased, open mind and take suggestions from people without, a certain baggage which will cloud the judgment. On the merit of that suggestion, I should be able to take. That is practicing detachment at work. I may not like a particular person. Like in our country, we have done that. With Turkey, we have a lot of problems. Not once that country has supported us, even in the United Nations Council, and continuous many things have happened between two countries. But when the earthquake happened in Turkey, we sent relief from here. Differences of opinion are there, but when one needs to help, one needs to serve, one is doing that. In some ways, one is ensuring that people's suffering is reduced. So that is objectivity. In the how will one help? Putting aside these differences. That is what our culture teaches us. The spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one family. Developed countries had not given vaccines to others, which are such powerful, so-called powerful developed countries. They stopped giving vaccines to countries. We have given from here. Vaccine Maitri. When at a certain time when there were shortages in our country for the second dose, but we gave. Even some places first dose. That is detachment. So get feedback from the team. What would your critics and competition think? Detachment helps us to even think about that. We put our prejudices aside and think, what would the competitors be able to think? I will be able to understand if I put aside my judgments and temporarily put aside my conditionings. So that way, detachment can help a lot. Detachment in execution is the last point for today, where I will stop. What is detachment in execution? First is plan out your work and work out your plan. Systematically, one has to plan every single day, make a list beforehand, plan the work, tomorrow these things I need to achieve, and then work systematically according to that plan. That brings focus, that puts away all distractions, and one remains, single pointed. So plan out the work, work out the plan. Detachment in execution also is, I will give my best without any compromise. If I'm attached, I will compromise. Drop personal comfort, shortcuts, selfishness. Again, that is detachment. Not that comforts are not important, but not at the cost of quality, not at the cost of my duty. So many times we compromise and take shortcuts because of some selfishness, and that causes corruption, that causes so many other problems. Why? Because I'm selfish. It's for I, me and mine. Minimum work, maximum pay I want. In some methods, I want to cut the quality, get more profit, compromise. Then we create products which are going to have challenges. So drop that kind of attachment to personal comfort. Duty comes first. Duty before pleasure. If that simple principle we apply in life, we will not compromise. Enjoy, no doubt, but not at the cost of my duty, and not putting the duty aside, enjoying first. No. Many times that happens. We put aside our work and postpone and don't do it, and then last minute burn the midnight oil, somehow do it and finish it. All that is attached mind. Why did I postpone? Some attachment to comfort. One possible reason is that. Third point, do smart work, not mere hard work. Nowadays, this is very popular and common. People know that work smart, use all the faculties and upgrade, take courses if required, refresh oneself, use the technology, use any means which are available to become smart and apply. Very important point is in detachment, bring the mind where the hands are and do one thing at a time. Very important. Multitasking is a big myth. There's nothing called multitasking. There's only switch tasking. If I'm watching television, eating food, my attention will switch between these two. If I am, let us say, driving the car and talking on the cell phone, attention will switch between these two. If I am listening to music and doing some work, attention will switch between these two. So even if it is going on in the background, one part of the mind will keep listening to that. So the focus, and when some music plays which I really love, then the attention goes much more there. So today people have understood all this. In our culture, it has been said, Bahushaka Yanantascha Buddhayo Avyavasayinam. The adapted meaning of that is this. When the mind has lots of desires, it goes endlessly roaming around in the world of objects. That mind is not integrated mind. And samadhau na vidhiyate, Gita says, that person cannot get absorbed in the higher states of samadhi. Here we take simple work at hand. So one thing at a time, very important. You see the statistics. Temptation is a constant companion. The average person checks their phone 150 times per day. Between the work, I'm saying, not regular. Between the work, it keeps happening. This is American statistics. Average time spent on a task before interruption, 1 minute 15 seconds. You just imagine. And it takes more than 25 minutes on average time to resume a task after being interrupted. Now, just look at the amount of time this takes and energy and attention, the cost of it, you see. Multitaskers experience a 40% drop in productivity across the board. Whichever level of hierarchy you are, take 50% longer to accomplish a single task and make up to 50% more errors also. So heavy multitasking can temporarily lower IQ up to 15 points because our capacity, executive control capacity, where we focus and filter out everything else, that capacity goes down. That's why it says 15% lower will be the IQ points. 3 times more the effect of smoking cannabis. That's the power of multitasking, the harm of multitasking. And what is the cost? 25 million meetings take place daily in America. What do they find? 92% admitted they multitask during the meetings, 41% admitted to doing it often or all the time. Now, this is a way in which one is functioning. So, one thing at a time, very, very important. Last slide here. Always do more than you are paid for. One day you will be paid for more than you do. That is a feeling one must have. This, the love that I have for my work will bring this. Good service, as we give, we remain happy. We don't bother about what the world has done. I have done my best. That joy, the satisfaction is there. Because when we get casual, then things start to collapse. And then that karmic consequences definitely do come back. So these are 5 beautiful ways by which one can accept or one can apply detachment in the daily life, at work. And finally, one can also learn to accept results as they come. We call as prasada buddhi. When we have done execution, when the results come, we learn to accept with prasada buddhi, with gratitude, with cheerfulness. And whatever corrections we have to make, improvements we can definitely do, but we don't allow them to dishearten us and give up. So this is the way we apply detachment at work. And I wish you all great success in work and applying detachment at work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji, for the wonderful exposition on how to observe detachment at work, which is basically detaching oneself from negative qualities and attaching ourselves to hard work and sincerity. So we have many more such sessions coming up. And tomorrow morning, we have the slide. Tomorrow morning, J. Srinivasji will be talking on Kritya Kyayadhikaranam, which is an inquiry into rebirth. The talk will be in Sanskrit, but he will give a summary at the end in English. So please do tune into this talk also. Namaste and thank you.